There, I turned on the big fan, and then we're gonna assess. Maybe not a good idea. We have a turbo problem. And we're back. So like typical fashion, like things I do, I felt the need to pick up another piece of shit because that seems to be the route I go. But this one, it's an exceptional piece of shit. It's not just any piece of shit, it's an exceptional piece of shit. And let me explain. Nope, starting at the rear, the hatch is okay. It is faded, it's pouring rain right now, that's why I'm hiding in the garage. It is lowered on something, I don't know what. It does have a big dent in the body panel there. Those wheels are actually off of a Mustang. Now this car actually has a Type R, Integra Type R, 5-bolt conversion, I guess you'd call it. It does have the Integra Type R conversion. That's why you don't see the standard 4-on-100, you see the standard 5-on-114.3. So moving along, it does have a missing bumper. It does have the JDM front end. As you can see, the hood does need a lot of love. These hood struts don't work at all, so that's awesome. But it does have very cool, a boosted H22 in it. So that's pretty cool. I do love the H22 personally. And again, moving around this side. So we do have some work ahead of us. Now there is one thing exceptional about this car, and it has to do with the H22, and it is the fact that that H22 is actually blowing. I don't know if it's blowing, I don't know what the deal is. I got the car like that, but it smokes like crazy, as you're gonna see if I can get it going. And I just thought of something else because the car has been sitting there for 2 months. The clutch needs to be bled, so it might be interesting trying to move it. So I think the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna see if we can figure out, is the excessive smoke coming from the turbo side? For example, is it leaking into the exhaust side of the turbo, or is it coming from the engine? So what I'm gonna do, so I'm gonna fire it up, or I'm gonna try to fire it up because it doesn't run very good. I'm gonna fire it up, get it hot, and then I'm just gonna separate the exhaust manifold from the engine, see what we get. So what we've also got here, so the nitrous switch is actually for the nitrous intercooling. Raise the nitrous on the intercooler to cool it more for a better charge. Sure, I'll go with that. This switch could end up becoming a big old dog show. We have things to fix, like nobody knows what's happening there, although this head probably has to come off anyways. There's that. Moving onward, I think I mentioned before my camera turned off, we do have the intake, we do have the throttle body, pretty cool. Complete with an engine coupler. No shortage of cool parts on this. So time to get to work, time to jump on Marketplace and see if we can track down a bumper. We got no smoke coming out. Oh, it changes in a hurry. I turned on a fan just to keep the exhaust hopefully out of the house. And that's what leads me to believe that this could be a turbo seal, because it has to get quite hot. To me, if it was a head gasket, I'd probably do it all the time. Actually, it's probably some of the better spin, but we'll let it get a little hotter here. All right, we got her inside. So first thing we're gonna do is deal with the obvious, deal with these hood struts, because we can't get anything done with hood flop around. Actually kind of cool, it's a spoon hood. I've never owned a spoon product, and if you think back to Fast and the Furious, which clearly I'm a fan of, it's pretty cool. These things, I've never seen a hood strut so blown out before, holy smokes. That ain't gonna do nothing for nobody. But with the NRG though, that's kind of cool. It's kind of got that carbon fiber look on it. It's kind of neat. One of these can be recharged. The ends are reusable, so it's neat. Now, as long as these ones I picked up in NAFTA work, we'll be laughing. It's like too strong. Okay, so I've got everything unbuttoned here, or unbolted I should say. I'm going to now start it. I'll let it get hot so it doesn't piss off the neighbors. And then I'll pull the header away and we'll see if the smoke continues. It's a double-edged sword. Part of me is like, I hope it's the head gasket, because it's cheaper to do, way more time consuming. Part of me says, well, I hope it's not the ring. And then part of me says, I hope it's the turbo itself, but then turbos are expensive, but then we can rebuild it. I don't know. The good news is I just noticed the exhaust side of the turbo does have oil coming out of it. So let's hope. Let's get this thing hot and see what happens. We're gonna let that air out for a minute there. I turned on the big fan, and then we're gonna assess. That's tight. The car is untuned. I expect it to run rich, but not burn oil. Exhaust leak. good news is, I don't know if it's good news, we have a turbo problem. I mean, I guess we're not taking the top half of the engine apart. The bad news is, oh, it doesn't even look bad in camera. There's a lot of smoke coming out of there. Anyway, that's good. Now we know what's wrong. So I was gonna put the bumper on so it's not such an eyesore to my neighbors. And then look at this. Can you guys see on the wastegate pipe where the oil has been splattering? And then if you look between the downpipe and the turbo, you can see all the oil coming out of it. And then also on the compressor side, you can see the oil coming out of the pipe there. So that's definitely, I mean, if it's not the issue, it's a issue, but I'm pretty confident it's just the issue. I can deal with it running rich like that, but this is definitely a concern. So we're gonna need to get a new, looks like a T3 turbo of some sort. Probably an eBay special. It's hard to say. This thing's got name brand, everything else on it. I can't see anything on it, and it's way too hot to get in there now after running it. So I think we'll report back here. Okay, so I think the best route of attack on this is to try and pull it over the top. Because it's low mounts, I think that's gonna be the best way. The easiest way anyway to get the turbo bolts off. Why do people continue to put these cars together that don't know what the fuck they're doing? I'm at a loss. This is, every time I open the hood of a Honda, I run into this problem. Okay, I got the downpipe disconnected, and now I'm gonna take the oil phase line off of here. It almost looks like this doesn't have a oil restrictor in it, and being that low to the oil pan, I can't help but wonder. Moved on it a little bit, just gonna see if I can get it. There we go. Screw it. I'd like to get it out of here and see. Oil line feed is off though. I'm gonna take off the air filter neck, charge pipe, manifold. I'm gonna show the whole thing out, see what the heck's going on here. I can't even make this up. You gotta come see this. Whoever put this car together, aside from the vacuum line being on the top of the wastegate, they had it right on the side at one point, and then for whatever reason moved it. I'm almost certain this isn't a restrictor, it just looks like a JSC to pipe 90, right? Oh, but it gets better. Under the car, can you see that? There is a kink in the drain line back to the pan. A kink, can you see that? Right here. There's a kink in the oil drain back to the oil pan. Now, I don't know how many of you played with garden hoses when you're 5 years old, but kinks don't flow well, especially when they're gravity fed. There's probably nothing wrong with this Garrett turbo. I'm gonna pull it out anyway and check the shaft on it, but there's a lot of red flags right now. Oh yeah, look at that oil. What's the exhaust side look like? Oh, look at that. Look at the oil in there. Oh man, let's get it over here so you can see better. Okay, check it out. So this is our compressor side. Shaft feels good. Got a lot of play in there. Lots of oil here. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna go on a whim and say between poor drainage, because this was 90 almost right here, it'd be right there. Poor drainage. Pretty sure there's no restrictor up here. If I pop that out, let's find out. So I'm just using a can of brake clean here, just a random can. I had to clean some of this up. Well, I wait for parts stores to open tomorrow so I can get a restrictor. And a lot of this oil is gonna burn off anyway. You know, turbos obviously get pretty hot, so I just want to clean a bunch of it off, and then we'll get this drain fixed and go from there. I think I'll put a 45 on the drain to keep things flowing rather than slow it down with a 90. See how much space we have once we get in there anyway. Well, that's the end of that. So we're gonna come back to the turbo. We're gonna get a restrictor for it and stuff, but right now what's bothering me is this drain line they have here. So let's get that off. And let's see what's going on there and who was thinking of what at the time. I'm clearly not thinking if they don't have an oil restrictor. And look how kinked that 90 is. This is actually embarrassing. Hopefully it's coming off, not just spinning in the oil pan, because that'll piss me off. It's like a spell. That was just spinning the nuts on the pan. I just put a crescent wrench on it to hold it in place while I spin it off here. Let's take a look at this thing. Let's take a look-see. Look at how is that supposed to drain any oil from a turbo? In fact, it's draining so little, there's none in it. Very, 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 very little. Look how restricted that is. There we go. You guys remember Crocodile Dundee? That's not a knife. This is a knife.
That's a knife.
Yeah, it's kind of how I feel about this right now. It's like, that's not an oil drain. This is an oil drain. Look at it, it's like almost double the size. There we go. Look at that. So this is probably like 1/2 inch OD and this is 5/8 ID. That'll get things flowing. Just got back from my oil restrictor. Let me show you the difference here. So this is the oil restrictor, okay? This is what was feeding that turbo. Whoever put that turbo in there, this is what was feeding it. That is what's supposed to be in there. Do you see the difference? Look at that hole size. And then there was the drain. Don't even get me started on the drain. So yeah, I think the turbo was probably pushing oil past the seals and hopefully they're not blowing out. But this, regardless, compared to that, is bad news. Okay, I'm just finishing up, torquing up. I guess I wouldn't say torquing, but tightening up the last few manifold and header bolts here. And then we're gonna get on to, we're gonna start this thing and see if it actually still smokes still. Now, we fixed the drain, we fixed the supply. Did it ruin the turbo seals along the way? I don't know, we're gonna find out. But while I'm letting it run, I do have, I think, some tires and wheels. I don't know about the hub size, but I do have some 5-on-1 14.3, because this has the Type R conversion. 5-on-1 14.3 wheels that I might throw on here and see if they work. They're a nice wheel, 16 inch. You guys will dig them. Turn it up to temp and let's see if it starts smoking. Okay, well I fired it up, I got it running. I do expect a little bit of smoke from what was in the tailpipe before. I just don't know how much smoke it should, but it should definitely get less and less and reduce as we're going along. So I guess we'll see here in the next few minutes how things progress. All right, update. So we've hit the point now where the exhaust is getting warm enough, and I feel it's starting to burn out all the old oil that's in there. It's definitely not smoking like it was, I don't think, but it's definitely smoking. Overall, not bad. Let's put some wheels on here. Let's do something fun, and then we'll pull it outside and let it smoke out there. Sounds like a plan. Ooh, shit, that's looking pretty fire, boys. All right, I'm gonna pull it outside. We're gonna let it run, see if it smokes anymore. Go from there. I should put the bumper on at some point. There's so much to do on this car, it's unbelievable. So I'm happy to report we got the car turned around under its own power. That said, there was an issue. The clutch does not engage or disengage. In reverse, no. Like, it feels like there's a good clutch pedal there, but you can't get it into reverse. When you get it in reverse, even with the clutch to the floor, it's still in reverse. So something to address, but I think next, let's get this front bumper on here so it doesn't look like a complete piece of shit. Washer reservoir is broken on it. When Donovan was unloading from the trailer, he had a little bit of a bump, and that was the end of that. No big deal. So we'll get that fixed up at some point. Right now we'll get the bumper on it. I think it was starting to smoke less as it was running more and getting hotter. It's hard to confirm, but that pipe is probably just so full of oil. Not to mention the charge tube. I did wash it out with some brake clean, but who knows how far. Like, yeah, let's get the bumper on here and then see if it doesn't look like a complete piece of shit. Well, I think I've had enough for one day. That just put the icing on the cake. Let me show you. So that was a $17 tube of rubber cement. Yep, there's 17 bucks gone. It was brand new. At least I didn't get on the car. But getting the bumper to line up, I think it's hitting the intercooler. We have lots to do. So this does have the nitrous for the intercooler, but the solenoid's not wired in. Obviously, there's lots of cleanup to do under here. I don't know if that's part of the VTEC or what they've got going there. We'll have to figure that out. I mean, why would you put any tape or anything on there? Lots of stuff going on over here, but this isn't the bad side. That's the bad side. Let's go over there. Oh, and we've also got random amplifier wires not connected. Oh, we've got random Allen heads and vacuum lines here. I guess they don't make vacuum port plugs anymore. We've also got PCV systems taking boost, so that's always a good thing. Interior wise, we've still got all this to do. We've got a shifter we need to deal with. We need to shift boot and shift knob. We've got a stereo we gotta deal with. We've got shit on the dash we gotta deal with. We've gotta fix the center console. It doesn't end.